And of course, our number one team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off an incredible season last year, 10-7, which is not indicative of how good that they actually were. They, that team stepped up when they needed to. They dealt with a lot of adversity, but I think they found their identity too, which a lot of these teams has been the conversation about what's their identity, right? They found their identity with their quarterback. They know Baker's the guy. They found their identity with running back. They know Bucky's probably going to be the guy moving forward. Mike Evans is still a staple. Can Chris Godwin come back a little bit more healthy to help them out? If Chris Godwin was healthy last year, I think we look at a deep playoff run from the Buccaneers, to be honest. Jalen McMillan coming over from Washington, lands there in the draft last year. You started to see him step up to the plate. Now, Cade Otton, Payne Durham, those guys at tight end. Hopefully you get to see a little bit more from them. They went in the draft and they get 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝘀𝗀. The all-time leader at wide receiver is 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘶𝗂𝘀𝗀 at Ohio State. That's a little trivia time for you guys. He's a consistent weapon that's going to be there for him. He's going to be the Chris Godwin for him this year. And then their last pick is Tej Johnson, the most underrated wide receiver. Jason, when I tell you, when we was out at the Senior Bowl, he was nobody could cover him. Nobody.
That's the Oregon guy, right? He's from Oregon, right?
Yeah, the 156 pounds, 5'11". And he was making people look silly, bro. And we saw it on film, but to see it in person against the best of the best players, they couldn't hold a candle to him. How does that dude get chosen in the 7th round? It's belt the ass for everybody. Benjamin Morrison, watch the film on. I'm not as high on him at cornerback, but I do like Jacob Parrish, who they picked up in round 3 at corner from Kansas State. So I see why they went so high on Benjamin Morrison, but a good safety blanket for them was Jacob Parrish. I like that. David Walker, got to see him for the first time. Not going to sit up here and lie to everybody. I don't watch Central Arkansas. I don't know what type of team that they have. But anytime you go from a smaller school and you get an invite to the Senior Bowl, you must be one of those ones. Had 31 career sacks at Central Arkansas, and he was good at the Senior Bowl, was able to keep up with those guys. SMU had the hell of a run last year in college football, went to the ACC championship, and Elijah Roberts was a big part of that at edge rusher. 17.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons for him. They choose him in the 5th round. Now, there's a couple things that when you look at this team up and down, you're going to have, 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀. Can he step up to the plate? Because remember, he was one of those guys that they picked up high in the draft that I wasn't very high on, but they always were. Can he be the guy that they want him to be, right? They have Rachaad White still there, Sean Tucker, Sterling Shepard, that's coming over to help them out, which is, a great thing to have. And then also Jamel Dean is probably one of the most disrespected cornerbacks in the league. We'll see what he looks like. But actually, I think that's wrong because I don't even think he's on this roster anymore.
No, he's there.
No, Jamel Dean is. Why did I think he was a free agent at some point?
It was the other one. I know who you're thinking of. Carlton Davis?
No, Carlton Davis is on the Patriots. Oh. Hold on, let me not eat my words because I thought I saw the other day that Jamel Dean. No, he's not a free agent. He's there. No.
What? On ESPN's depth chart, he's listed there.
Why was I reading that Jamel Dean? Sorry, guys. I don't want to slip up on my words here. They were thinking about him as being a camp cut. Okay, that's what it was. That's what I was reading. But he's still there. So hopefully Jamel Dean can step up to the plate and be a guy for them. But the one that I'm excited to see come back fully healthy is Antoine Winfield, who's one of the best safeties in the league. Tyke Smith, got to interview him as well a couple of years ago. Awesome guy. Hope that he continues to step up to the plate. And then, Vita Vea, the usual name, Adam Gotts he comes over from the Jaguars. It's funny that he's on the team. Logan Hall, Anthony Nelson, Deion Jones is there after his. We were talking about the Falcons after his stint with the, with the Falcons. He's now a Buccaneer. Hassan Reddick comes over. Weird. Yaya Diaby. Savasier Dennis, which is hilarious that I was not as high as Savasier Dennis coming out of Pittsburgh as a lot of other people. But he's starting to step up to the plate. Maybe he can replace Lavonte David later in his career. We understand how good Lavonte David is as well. But when you look up and down this roster, man, a couple new faces and a couple strange places. So, but 12-5, having a better year than they did last year. I just think they're the most complete team in the NFC South until proven otherwise. What say you, Jason?
I agree 100%. And this is a team that is the most battle tested as well. I mean, these other teams are good, and like the Panthers, the Falcons, we know they will probably be good, but the Buccaneers are proven. You know what I mean? We know what Baker Mayfield is. We know that when you need a game-winning drive, Baker Mayfield is more than capable of doing so. He's more than capable of taking you down the field and winning that game for you. And that's a rare trait. The way Baker Mayfield plays, he's got that grit. I really like how he, kind of settled down as his career went on. He wasn't as loud at times. He just like head down, work, but he still got that grit, and I love that. I absolutely love that. He didn't lose it, but he toned it down, and it's at where exactly it should be. But in all this bullcrap that he's went through, he found his spot. Said, "Hey, this is my spot until proven otherwise." And the Buccaneers are saying the same at the top of the division. I mean, you still have Mike Evans. Does Mike Evans continue his 1,000-yard receiving streak? I think this year it breaks. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna keep that going this year? Or think it's gonna break?
I'm so conflicted with that, and I knew that this was probably going to come up in our conversation. I tried to avoid it like the plague.
They just have so many mouths to feed now, so it's like it's not that he can't. It's just that they have so many different players they want to get the ball to.
Here's what I'll say. I think he gets 900 yards this year.
Okay.
Because the pot is so full of other wide receivers there. Like, I think 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is going to demand attention. I think when Chris Godwin gets back, they're going to want to feed him a little bit more. I think one of those receivers turns out to be pretty good, moving forward. Yeah. I just think those are the things that we have to look out for more so than anything else of why is preventing him from getting 1,000 yards. And I don't think it's his ability. Like, I think his ability to be really, really good is still going to be there. And I think he could get close to having 1,000 yards, but when it comes to getting him 1,000 yards or the team's success by having another guy step up to the plate, I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself is getting him 1,000 yards more than getting a win? And I don't think so unless they're feeling really, really comfortable in this division. Let's say if they're up by like 4 games, right? And taking one loss does not sway them one way or the other on the success of their team, or where they might be seated in the playoff, then I think that Mike Evans in week 18 gets 150 targets in one game, like to get that 1,000 yards. So, but I don't see it happening this year. It was a good run. It was something incredible to see. But if you go 12 straight seasons with 1,000 yards, brother, to me, that's first ballot Hall of Fame.
He's not I was just gonna say some people have the nerve to say that he's not.
I mean, I don't think he is right now. But if you go 12. I don't care how many touchdowns you get this year. If you go 12 1,000-yard seasons, I mean, what's the record? For consecutive.
Didn't he break it last year, or did he tie it?
Yards season. That's what I'm trying to find out. NFL record is held. jointly by Jerry Rice and Mike Evans.
Okay.
So they both had 1,000 yards. So if he breaks Jerry's record, there's one thing that people don't do very often is break any of Jerry's records. But if you go 12 1,000-yard seasons and you break Jerry's record, you have to be in the conversation of being first ballot at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because nobody breaks Jerry's records. It just doesn't happen. So I think you would have to. I mean, tying it is just enough, but like, I think to get in the first ballot conversation, he's got to break that record. I'm sure he would love to. I'm sure Jerry would be there in the last game too to congratulate him, which would be super dope. I hope it's like when Wayne Gretzky was at all of Alex Ovechkin's games until the last 5 games until he broke the record. I think it's gonna be something like that. Like we're on the 1,000-yard watch, right? And 18 seasons. 18 seasons just like helps you out with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. But like I was saying, I mean, you have so many good receivers. As you go down the receiver list, I mean, you have McMillan, Shep, Trey Palmer, Tez Johnson we were talking about. I mean, all these guys are capable of being good depth receivers or even maybe even possibly being a third or playing more time, you know. It's receiver room is good. Payne Durham, I think he was a sliders guy, right? Payne Durham was a sliders guy.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that one. I remember that one.
I actually said to his parents at the Senior Bowl, I said, yo, he's awesome. Payne Durham was like my favorite tight end in that class, but, you know.
That's cool.
I don't know if it's his work ethic or something, but he's a beast, bro. We literally see him catch a tight end, caught a touchdown pass in practice, helmet off and everything. It looked like Gronkowski, bro. It was crazy.
Damn. But yeah, I mean, the offensive line's good enough. It's a nasty offensive line. They really like to punch you in the face. And your boy Bucky Irving, Rashad White. I like Sean Tucker too. He's another good option there. I mean, offense is going to be wonderful. You know, it's going to be about anything you could ask for from an offense. They could keep you in games. They could blow teams away. They could beat really good defenses. I mean, everyone complements each other so freaking well. And defensive wise, yeah, maybe there are a couple question marks here and there about the defense, but really not too much. They're well-rounded and they're ready. They're ready to go and make another big run. You know, as long as everyone stays healthy, no too crazy injuries or nothing crazy happening, the Buccaneers are probably going to win the division and probably make a nice run to playoffs.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, we got a couple people in the chat. Mike Evans is elite, bro. Yeah, nobody's saying that he's not. we know. Your boy Marcus Lattimore, before he went off to the Commanders, used to get his ass clapped by him every game. But nah, we agree, bro. As a Saints fans, I can't stand when other rivals try to talk down on his accomplishments. Man, that deserves a clap. Yeah. We got to – that's the one thing about doing YouTube or, like, talking in an unbiased fashion like we are about all these teams is I'll beat my team up first before I beat your team up. That just is what it is. Go back when we did the AFC South previous to this. I let the Jaguars have it. You know, I was belt the ass. I did not hold back.
Yeah.
Saints are going to be a trash fire. Of course, we are in a major rebuild. Yeah. Wait, hold up now. Lat always won that battle. I think we're pushing that narrative a tad bit. The thing about Marcus Lattimore that I never liked is that boy was handsy and never got called for it. That's why Mike always used to get mad. Like, you go back and watch the film, bro. Marcus Lattimore used to get away with murder, bro. With murder. But, no, it's all good. Not saying Marcus Lattimore is bad, but he was super handsy when it came to covering Mike Evans. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. Bro, I promise you he did. Evans on Lattimore. Yeah.